We'll just wait a couple more minutes and see if anybody shows up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear perfectly fine.
Okay.
Hello. You know, this Midwest weather is so insane. Like, you're not even safe in Texas. I went to Texas this past weekend.
Yeah.
It was 73 on the highway, then turned to 53 and completely cold.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. When I was coming back from Tennessee 2 weeks ago, it had been like pretty nice out. And then I was driving back and like it just started raining buckets. I was like, okay, like just if I can keep moving through the storm, like it'll be fine. And I got out of it. It was beautiful. Rainbow over the highway. It's great. About an hour later, snow. Could not see more than half a mile. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't sticking, like it was sticking on the side of the road, but it wasn't sticking to like our cars or anything, but like you couldn't see. And I was like, okay, I'd really like to not be doing this right now. I'd really just like to get home.
right.
So I was like, I just have to keep driving, like there's no sense in stopping. And so I was like, just keep going, just keep going. I was like, it has to be just because I'm at a higher elevation right now. And then I got home and it was, 60 degrees and fine.
Did you experience any highway hypnosis?
No, didn't last long enough for any of that.
I can't stand highway hypnosis. I would rather drive in pouring rain than fall asleep at the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I had left at like 7 a.m. because I don't do nighttime driving at all. Like I have to drive during the day. And so I just left early enough that I could at least like watch the cars on the other side of the highway. Cause I kept watching them. I'm like, okay, if anybody has a bunch of buildup on their car, I'm gonna pull over. And just cause I'm like, I'm trying to gauge people coming at me as to how much snow they had. But then it was real hit or miss. Like clearly somebody had been parked outside where it had been snowing. And then like the truckers just had it on their grill. And so I was like, I don't know, we're just gonna keep driving at this point until it starts sticking to the road and then we'll pull off. But it ended up being fine. It stopped eventually.
Um, I don't know what your vision ratio is,
Bad.
bad, but even like having a 20/20 or like good vision,
Yeah.
I don't like nighttime driving anymore either because the new headlights that are out now, it's
Yeah.
blinding.
Yeah. I won't do it. Like I can usually drive until about 8 p.m. But then once it's full dark, if there's no like overhead highway lights, I'm like, nope, I'm done. We're not going any further.
So I guess we will go ahead and start the meeting. In front of you is, well, I wish I could get this digital. I only have it on paper, but we have a budget in front of us for the mid-year budget, I believe. The treasurer gave that, and then there's the proposed budget. And I guess we don't have to, I don't know if we would come up with that right away because I don't remember what the proposed budget like deadline per se was. I was just handed that. So that would be like, hey, we would make this proposal. This is what we're going to need. And I'm sure you've already experienced this because you've been in tourism for a really long time. So I'm not too familiar with it or what the needs of tourism are at this moment in time, but that's just a common courtesy and to the people listening in, 2024, 2025, or no, actually the year to date, February 24th to 25th, I guess our current budget for the hotel motel tax is $11,343.45. And for the hotel motel consulting expense is $2,071.57.
So when it says consulting expense, or is that just our total expenses so far?
I am it just says income expense on the side, but that's the thing. When I look at this, I can't that's a very like that seems like more of like an accounting term, and I don't know the answer to that question. What length?
Like, I don't know that we've had any consultants, but I don't know if that's just what we've spent,
Mhm.
so far.
Okay, consulting expense question. Um. So for the festival, I'm just gonna leave this as an open floor discussion kind of thing.
Okay.
I think in past meetings, it just, it was very logically oriented, and going through all these details, and there's just too much information to pack into 1 hour. But essentially, Momo Fest was an idea that was proposed and it was brainstormed on, and it would be the successor to Momo Days, which Momo Days has had some interesting success in the past, various guests and ideas in the town. But I think it hasn't been done for several years now. But there actually seems to be a continuous fascination with the cryptid, if that's what you want to call it. And I had sent emails out to everybody, and I'm just informing the people that haven't been to the chats recently or not about there's something called I think it's the Mothman Festival that I sent out in the emails, and it looks like with their momentum year after year, they have the same population size. I can't remember what state that was in, but wherever Mothman Festival was at,
I think it's West Virginia.
West Virginia.
I think so.
Okay, it's a river town just like ours, and it has a population suitable to ours now, unless there's something that they have a benefit to that I'm not privy to, as far as like a maybe there's a casino by, because that seems to be kind of a hidden feature of a lot of the small towns within a certain radius, is that there just happens to be a casino down the road. But other than that, they have, there's a statue there. There's a celebration of the Mothman character, and then they have rides, and they even have like people do cosplay and stuff like that, which is actually becoming increasingly popular now in the Midwest. So, um, that would be a great place to start, I think. I don't know what everybody else thinks as far as modeling successes from, but some of the concerns, and I would definitely like to hear your concerns, is going to be budget. Are we going too crazy, or are we not going crazy enough, or what the best course of action is as far as having the guest speakers, right? So I know that some of the top people one of the people that were successful with Momo Days was Bill White. I think his fee is $1,200. And I don't think we pay any lodging or anything like that, because I've been told, I believe Brent Engel told me that because Bill White's familiar with this area, he would just stay with friends.
Okay.
But if for anyone that doesn't know, he played a classical song about Momo a long time ago, but he's also a widely successful broadcaster, and he actually has a tour where he sells tickets. He actually has a tour page, a band page. He's also a comedian. So I think that would be a beneficial thing.
Do we know what all that $1,200 gets us?
I think it's just his entertainment,
Okay.
essentially. Yeah, to the best of my knowledge right now. He'll perform, and if you go on YouTube and type in Momo Days, I think there is a PBS video of him.
Like a PBS special?
Yeah, special, and they had a pretty packed venue over at the Elks Lodge, which is pretty cool. That was exciting. But yeah, he interestingly enough, he actually attended the same university that I went to.
Yeah.
And so I think what I would do is, if I got a chance to meet him, I would try to create some kind of PR stunt with that and send it to the university and have them put it in their magazine, and then mention Momo Fest primarily.
Yeah.
That's just a thought.
No, I like that.
There's also Lyle Blackburn. I don't know if he was the writer or director, but I know there's some form of commentary from him. He is notable in the Momo monster movie that came out, I think, in 2018. I think it was kind of like a B movie, kind of like a campy horror movie, documentary kind of thing. And he gained some prominence from that, but also Lyle Blackburn has prominence and a cult following. I guess if anyone knows who, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He used to have TNT Monster Vision, and he has a companion named Darcy the Mail Girl. but he I think it's, oh yeah, Joe Bob Briggs kind of has that Joe Bob Briggs kind of thing about him. And so he does commentaries and stuff, but also like talks about cryptids and stuff like that. And I think he has a couple of novels out, but I believe if Casey, since you're in the stream, you can correct me on this. I think he said his fee was like 1,600. And I think he comes from, he would be driving from Texas and would he lodge here? Is that correct?
He emailed me the other day and said that he will be flying. So the fee for him just to come is $750, and then we would have to do the plane tickets and the lodging.
Okay.
So 750. This is travel and room. And what all do we get out of that?
He will do a presentation. He will sell some books. We will show his documentary, and he will just kind of talk about his documentary and Momo.
Okay.
So he'll have like a little stand to sell his books and his DVDs, and just to meet them. And I don't know exactly where we'll be showing his documentary, but I thought like at his venue, just do like a projection. I'm not real sure. He's wanting some more of the details, and I can't really give it to him. So I was kind of hoping to get some kind of clarification here.
Right, we're talking about logistics. So I'm glad that you brought that. So I will actually talk about logistics after I mention the next 3 people I'm going to mention, and then we'll jump into logistics because that was actually a problem I was having, and this has a lot to do with fairness and what is logically consistent. So the next couple of guests, one is a gentleman that I believe he charges about 75 an hour, but his name is Rob Walgast. He's from Ellsbury. He's a musician.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, well, one of the things that I know from previous events that we've been lacking, not tourism specifically, but some groups, was entertainment. And Rob Walgast, he has some YouTube videos of him covering songs. And I guess he does some of his own songs, but he kind of gives off this kind of Johnny Cash-esque kind of vibe kind of thing. And he is actually sings very well. And it's not really super expensive. And I asked him what kind of accommodations he would require. And I think he just requires like a speaker and a hookup, very basic accommodations.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we could reach out to the chamber or community betterment or what organization it was that has that stage, or if that would be necessary.
Oh, that they do on 4th Street?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Who's that is?
So that's just something to think about. But yeah, not very expensive, but also like, just some newer entertainment, younger talent is always good too, generational stuff. The next 2 people, there's a gentleman, I think his name is maybe Jason Ofit or Josh Ofit. I can't remember his first name, but he was actually in the Monsters of America, the Discovery series. It was a documentary that there was a series that came out a long time ago, and various people who've actually witnessed the monster were in it, and Jason Offutt was actually in that documentary, and I think his fee was supposedly $1,000. He's also an author, so he would sell books as well, and he might actually be willing to speak and stuff like that. I don't think he's particularly picky about a lodging or anything like that.
Okay.
And then the next person I'll propose, so that way I don't, go on a tangent, is an idea of maybe like having a magician or something like that. But I don't know if that's going overboard.
We would see kind of what we could get in, how we can, like we have dead time or anything like that.
Yes. So with that being said, and I want to definitely have an open floor discussion about this, is that given the kind of, I would say, if I could summarize this, kind of like the restoration or the reconstruction of Georgia Street with people taking over new buildings, stuff like that. We're seeing beautiful renovations, but we're also seeing certain businesses that are leaving or buildings are vacant. And so with that being said, there are only so many finite places logistically, but even as far as like occupancy, you know, if you think of like fire hazards and stuff, because there is an occupancy limit in these buildings, what would be the best place to host these individuals respectively? And, you know, would they be in succession? Would one person come up after another? Or would they be scattered? So like, let's say that you go to, can I say your business name?
Yeah.
Or, okay, so like, let's say that there is the Beacon on Georgia Street. Would one person go there at say 4 or 5 o'clock, since the event would take place in city limits, in the inner city historic downtown? Or would you say, okay, well, after talking to Kyle Blackburn, we're going to head over and talk, see Jason Offutt at 601 Gatherings to kind of create a fairness, you know, where there's no like, oh, well, how come everybody's at that kind of thing? So I don't know how to make that call. I don't know how you would do that in a very fair way, or what's most reasonable, if that makes sense, because I know that question would come up.
Yeah, well, okay, so Lyle Blackburn's a musician as well, right? But we would be focusing on his documentary.
Yes, and I was actually gonna bring that up. I haven't asked him about music, but if you guys maybe would like Tim to play something, I can definitely ask him.
Okay, so, and then Bill White would be playing his music as well, right?
And he's
Okay.
also a comedian.
Okay, so that's three that would need some kind of like PA system, music wise. Josh Jason Offutt, if he's just gonna be a speaker and an author. Could we maybe put him with like, say, the Bridge? Like the Bridge, the coffee shop?
Oh, okay.
Like if he's just a speaker and maybe doesn't need that amplification.
Okay.
And then if we can split anybody that's gonna need like the music end of it and need more equipment between the Gathering, the Beacon. I'm trying to think of who else we could. Maybe if 4th Street events wanted to take anybody. I know they're a smaller space though. But that's another event space.
That's true.
Because then we can split up lodging for anybody
Yes.
between Beacon, Eagles Nest, River's Edge, any of the Airbnbs, stuff like that, West End Cabins. We can split up lodging pretty evenly, I feel like. But if we're gonna try to keep everybody in downtown for entertainment. And it really just depends, you know, are we doing just a 1-day event? Are we doing a 2-day event? The Elks is another place that could host a musician if anybody wanted to play later at night. They usually do like Friday night entertainment for town events. But if they wanted to host kind of like how they do like the Cranberry Bash and stuff. If
Right.
one of the musicians wanted to go there. We might be able to do that. And really, I mean. Yeah. I don't know, I'm trying to think of like, do we wanna like. Start the day at 6:01 just because that's like the furthest end? And then like slowly move the entertainment. Towards the river,
I like that.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way it keeps people from being confused of like, oh, okay, we were there at 10 AM. But now we need to be over there at noon, but then we're coming back over here, whereas if we just kind of keep them moving down.
Yeah. See, that sounds pretty nice. Okay. Yeah, I think that would be good. I do want to point out something though, as the thing I was talking about fairness earlier. So like, for example, now I don't know if this is like a logistics problem or if it's like pulling people away, but like say The Keeley Center,
Mhm.
they're unfortunately they're like way out toward there, that's a nice event center,
It is a
but
great event center, but it's
um,
so far away.
yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like trying to create something where people can participate, but that's like, oh, but at the same time, it's like, well, it makes sense that you would have the events closer to downtown anyway, especially if,
Right.
if there's going to be a supposed effigy of Momo at the very end, you'd want to bring
Right.
all those people over.
Yeah.
And that also goes into the whole event idea. So one of the benefits of having this event on July 5th, depending on the consumer, of course, and what their needs are, what their plans are, is around this time, as I sent out in an email, and that's just something to be cautious about, which I guess this just means you really can't escape within the 30-mile radius we live in, that there's going to always be an event, but you can plan accordingly. So I know that last year there was what's called Freedom Fest.
Okay. Where is that?
Freedom Fest is like a whole week event. That'd be in O'Fallon, and they had Brett Michaels there, and it was a free concert too, so it was
Yeah.
packed.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so crazy because it's the suburbs merged. Yeah, it's weird, or it's crazy weird, but it worked out. And then I think Quincy, Illinois, and Hannibal also had Freedom Fest, but there were what I would say uh maybe not as much of a crowd, but it was reasonable where it was more of a people would say, let's go stop in, check this out, get a drink, and then leave.
Yeah.
And then go exploring. Um, what's interesting about those events though is they had their own iterations of Poison there.
Oh, okay.
They had
Yeah.
Poison Overload or whatever,
Yeah.
but that's something to consider. So July 4th would be high momentum because we've seen historically, at least since I've been a kid, 4th of July has always been a success unless I had missed out on something, but people have always just, crowded the riverfront. So if we have Momo Fest the next day, I think it would take advantage of that momentum.
I think so. I mean, it's people are gonna be on motorcycles up and down 79. People are gonna be getting in their boats. Like they're gonna be traveling around. It's usually a long weekend.
Mhm.
So yes, there are gonna be other events, but I don't think that should deter us from that weekend.
Right.
Just because okay, so we get the stop in, have a beer and leave traffic. They still got off 79. They still had to come down Georgia Street. It still puts Louisiana back in their little noggin of, oh, remember when we were on our way from O'Fallon to Hannibal and we saw this little thing going on and we stopped in? Let's go back to that town again when there's not a festival. It looked really cute. Yeah, we only had an hour that day, but I'd like to go back. I think even just being a blip on the radar would still do us well,
Yes. Any comments or questions from the chat or?
No.
Okay. As far as the Momo worksheet, I will say this. So I have sent out an email, and hopefully we can maintain this momentum.
No.
That would be that would that Steven Twitch would get off on that. He would definitely he would know how to take his radio voice and make that appealing.
Yeah.
So as far as it being this late in the year already, as we discussed, there's some things that I think something people were looking for last year, and I'm wondering if it's a motivation problem, if it's a monetary incentive or what it is. But like, for example, there wasn't there was like last year's spring fling, I guess it was mostly vendor focused, it seemed like. I think it lacked children's entertainment, and I don't know if there would be like an activity for the kids, if they would maybe draw Momo or something like that. The live entertainment options, which I think we're fixing that right now by discussing that. So I think that's fine, but maybe contests. It's like this year, if we were to get that active, as B has said, she mentioned, like another, like maybe like not like I guess a subcommittee or like a volunteer group specifically dedicated to the festival, kind of how Colorfest does stuff.
Yeah.
So we'd have to get that up and running. And then, again, activities for kids, how can we go about that? And then I actually found a cost-effective way for this. So I know that there's people that take that they have like a Momo outfit. There's a guy supposedly who dresses up as a Momo person and runs around and stuff. But it turns out if people want to dress up as maybe a mascot, you would get what's called a ghillie suit. It's really the cheapest way to portray the character, and with a few adjustments, you could make it look realistic.
Yeah.
But that was something you need a mascot for people to take photos with. That's most important. You need
Yeah.
someone to interact with the crowd and stuff like that. So someone willing to do that, that would be fine. Let's see. We also need to make it known that if there are any contractual obligations, that those are explicitly stated. We want to avoid the mistakes of last year where during spring fling, people were misinformed about the entry to the carnival, and they would show up thinking that they had the ability to do an unlimited ride, I think, and as a result of that not being the case, but having to wait later till nighttime, they that caused a stir. But yeah, I have a special event application. I'll actually just pass this over to you because have you seen this before or no?
No, not
No.
particularly.
Okay. I think it could probably be redone or with some suggestions, but basically, there's more of a lot of like the concerns for the special event application centers more around like liability issues and stuff like that. So the city, we have insurance. So that's actually going to save us a lot on the budget. So we can use the city's insurances to my best of my understanding. But I believe as long as you have the rough idea of how the event is going to go and you've gotten all the necessary permissions, then you would just submit that to the police chief and then he would make a proposal for the council and then they would vote on it. And I asked, well, what if like, do we have to have the vendors now before the application? To my understanding, no, just as long as you have the blueprint, then you can start
Right.
being more aggressive about it, I guess.
Are we wanting to get the, I guess it's not like a liquor license, but the approval to have open container on the street during the event? Or no?
I think as long as we don't have glass, I think that that would be okay. We just don't want glass.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I think that was kind of something people were a little bit miffed about during spring fling, was that there wasn't, they didn't get whatever the special permitting was to allow people to have alcohol on the street.
Oh, okay.
Like, so there couldn't be any alcohol vendors, or even if you went into the arcade was open, but like you had to stay there to drink it.
I am in favor of some kind of, I don't know if what the correct word would be, but I think it would be benefit if we had the ability to have some kind of container agreement or something where people walked around. Because the thing is, we can't be litigant phobes our whole lives. That's what's keeping the town back a lot.
Yeah.
People will talk, they'll say all these things. What about train tracks and stuff? Okay, well, how come Warrensburg, Missouri, we have something called Pine Street up there, which is very famous for obvious reasons, but there's all kinds of bars and restaurants, and guess what? It happens to be right next to an Amtrak, and there hasn't been a consistency in Amtrak, fatalities. So,
Well, even I think one year they just did the open container from like 3rd to 6th.
mhm,
So like you could have open container on the street, but you couldn't take it down to the riverfront.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like you had to stay in the main area. And so there was just somebody standing by the stop sign and you just couldn't carry your cup over.
Okay, Citizen One says the city has an open container ordinance by the drink requires a license by county state, I believe, in good faith,
Yeah.
as well as special permission. That's why there are beer gardens.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's helpful, but also I would like to add a benefit to this as well. So we will by that time we should have a complete police department staff, so they're not shorthanded this year. So there's no
Right.
reason, well, in my opinion, I'm just being vocal why they couldn't moderate that. I mean,
Right.
it's not like there's an influx of angry people unless for some reason, the biker gangs come in here and something, but that I don't think it's gonna happen.
And I mean, if we wanted to do like, the Beacon patio, and if the Elks wanted to close off their parking lot
Mm,
to have two areas. But then that requires on both ends that there's somebody at security going, hey, it's a beer garden, you can't leave with it. Which can be mitigated, but
right.
I think people enjoy being able to grab a beer and walk and spend their money.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it kind of sucks when you're like, yeah, I want a beer, but I don't want to just go sit there and drink it. I want to walk around with it.
Yeah.
Like,
And even then, if someone buys a beer, it's pretty well evident that they are a responsible adult with capable decision making. And even during the consumption of that alcohol, it's like, well, they're taking that risk when they walk around anyway. So it's like there shouldn't be a big fuss over that.
right.
So no, I think that's great, especially if you go to the Freedom Fests. Guess what people are doing? They're drinking. And guess what? They socialize. And when they socialize, they meet people. They have good memories. Oh, that small town. Oh, I met somebody there,
Yeah.
Yeah. So there needs to be some kind of freedom.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw this stuff off because again, it's gonna be a little complicated to consolidate all this stuff in one meeting. I'm not sure if we should talk about this during the meeting or after, but task delegation, like let's say hypothetically speaking, what is something that you would focus on?
In what sense? Just
Like-
towards Momo Fest?
Yeah, just like boots on the ground.
Like day of or beforehand?
Just like right planning stages, like what would
Planning
you
stages,
like what would you like to focus on if you were
I mean, I'm happy to help with social media posts and stuff like that.
okay.
Any kind of maybe graphics. It's not my super strong suit, but creating stuff like that. I mean, we just bought a second business, so my time is kind of limited. But
Okay. Could you make any, this is gonna sound cheesy, I feel like you would be perfect for this. Could you make any kind of like a reel or something?
like a video,
Yeah, like a 3-minute clip or something for easy consumption.
potentially.
Okay. Okay, well, so here is the deal with costs. So there's going to be the obvious checklists for all the things that we need. So I created a checklist like proof of concept. The proof of concept, the flyer can be changed. It doesn't matter. That was just something I whipped up. But the idea is if we're going to be going to people to get sponsorships and stuff like that, and that's another thing too, is we can't just show up with nothing. We have to say, well, this is what our idea was. And then they say, oh, okay. And I think we would like to, I would like to recommend that we get some ID badges made.
Okay.
So proof of concept. And then after we have that done, and I guess after we all would like to look through this stuff and understand what we're doing, we would have to agree on the proposed map, which there is a map. So the map that I made, it's kind of in an L shape, but basically it covers all of Georgia Street and the riverfront. And there's two sections I want to talk about and see what you all think. One section is the field that has always, like, it's always needed some kind of permission, but like obviously that field is going to be used during 4th of July, the big field right out here.
The square.
Yeah. And so we need to get land permission from that. And then also, I don't know if this is going above and beyond logistically, or if this is going to cause additional stress because this would be the first time we did this event. I know people love out of town people that don't see it every day, like the macabre and the mysterious, and they like novelty.
Yeah.
So should somebody be a tourist and bring people to Star Hill, or would that be, is it possible that it would be too hot and then having them walk uphill would be stressful?
I think it
So
might be a stretch. Go ahead.
Sorry. So me and my husband was wondering maybe if Brent could do that since he's part of the historic and he knows a lot about it.
Okay, I just want to know that would he like to have his calf muscles worked out? And just a reminder, everybody, Citizen One wanted to remind us that Mark Smith currently owns that land out there, that
Mark
big lot.
Smith. Okay.
Yeah,
I've always wondered who that was.
I believe he works at Wayne B.
Okay.
Is there a way to like maybe get like a shuttle and like like someone shuttle them out there instead of like walking? Or I've never been out there, so I have no idea what it looks like.
Not even either. Could we maybe commission one of the churches with their church buses?
That would be a great idea. I think they'd love that. And actually, I know that they would want to get involved for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My church has a new van, and I can ask them.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, we just need to find somebody who wants to do that tour. I think Brett's a great idea.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now we're not going to worry about contacting the businesses because we want to even know we can do the event. Because if we can get it approved and agree on it,
Mhm.
then that's when we can say, actually, this event was approved. We can show our meeting minutes, and I think that just enforces the proof of concept, and then we'll know if we're serious. I can say, okay. So here's a cost checklist. Assuming you can never have an ideal world, but this is kind of a rough idea. So I don't know how big we're planning to go, but there's like city trash that has to be picked up.
Mhm.
And then there are city portable bathrooms. I'm not sure how many we're wanting to get.
Okay.
And then will this event require additional security? And that's kind of a trick question because it's like, well, I mean, we're gonna have police officers, but I mean, I'm wondering, do we have to pay for that or?
Right, do we pay for them as off duty or?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
so I'm not sure about that one. And then obviously there might be a chance for a radio spot. Electricity, obviously. There's a lot of stuff like, how do I say this? There's not I guess, a proper procedure. You have to do a lot of question asking and, you know, it's because it's a new thing. And then of course, banners and signage. Let's see, we got something in chat. Gotta scroll down. Okay, so Citizen One says, I've been on Star Hill numerous times. You should try to go up that hill. I doubt a bus can make it, and rain would be an absolute no.
Okay.
What about the horse and carriage though?
I have not heard back. I think that's Rebecca Millen or Million. I can't remember her last name pronounced, but they have not reached out to me. They were actually supposed to contact me around this time and say when it warms back up, talk about the horse and buggy.
Yeah.
So I might actually reach out to them. So
are we able to go there as public, like today, when I get home? Am I able to go up there and just kind of check it out, or is that like a private property thing?
I think it's private because the tower. Okay, yeah, open Friday and Saturday. Yeah, so the open Friday and Saturday, you can throw brush and stuff up there and get that burnt, but otherwise it's off limits because I believe that's where our towers are at.
Okay. Okay.
So as far as advertising the event, one of the cool things, and I bet you could probably make a mock-up of this. We're looking for personal encounter stories. I know, I talked to Robert Jordan up at the bridge, or up by 54 and 79, up by Fastlane, and he would love to give an encounter story because he apparently encountered the thing in Texas.
Oh,
So that's interesting. So yeah, definitely encounter stories.
yeah.
Vendors. I've tried to figure out some interesting vendors, and I'm wondering about this too. So this might be kind of a lengthy discussion itself, but given the fact that we would like to generate commerce in the town, and especially with there being kind of like a hit or a miss with restaurants coming and going. I know Sprinkles closed not too long ago.
JJ's is
yeah.
going in there.
Yeah. Oh, JJ's going in there?
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, I thought he bought the building over here.
The landing?
Yeah.
No, Otis bought the landing. Otis Manning,
Okay.
he bought that.
Is it gonna be a restaurant too?
That's his goal. I think so, but I wouldn't hold that to any immediacy.
Okay. So what types of vendors then would we want? Like, that's the question.
I mean, I think just definitely bringing in food truck vendors. Cause like, I can tell you, we're probably not gonna wanna serve food. And, I mean, Brooke would probably be open and serving food.
Mhm.
Gambino's would more than likely be open. Dairy Queen will be open. But that would be kind of about it on that strip,
Okay.
right? Am I missing anybody?
Yeah, let's see.
Like on Georgia?
Does the bridge count though? But they sell snacks and coffee, right?
Yeah, they'll do like some pastries occasionally, but they're mostly coffee.
Okay.
So I would say bringing in food truck vendors. And then I don't know, I really like to not make it a vendor event and block off all the businesses we have.
I agree.
Like I would like them to be open and them to be able to do sidewalk sales.
Yes.
That's why I emailed you about doing like the classic cars or the motorcycles in those spaces instead of vendors.
Yes.
Whereas I think if we just put like food trucks and maybe if we find somebody that's like super crazy cool just on the cross streets. Cause like your food trucks will need to be at the cross streets anyway, because they'll need the water from the fire hydrants.
Right.
But then leave kind of the rest of it open or fill it with motorcycles, classic cars,
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah, I don't know what we would really want other than food.
Yeah, and I think actually create a lot of open space too, and it wouldn't be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
And I think people be able to breathe and not feel suffocated by there being a million things going like that. So yeah, okay,
Well,
that's
and I think it would allow Georgia Street to actually shine.
yes.
Like, cause once you have all those tents, they're at eye level, you can't look up and see those buildings anymore. They're gone. Whereas if they're not there, people walking down the street will actually be able to see, oh, there's a business there, there's a business there, look at that cool building.
That is a good observation, yeah. I never thought of that.
Yeah, well, cause like we know those buildings are there, but if you've never walked that street without tent vendors, you have no idea what those buildings look like behind those tents.
Mhm.
And they're beautiful.
Yes. Okay,
Can I
and
point something with the whole kid thing? Those two grassy areas right beside the river. I was thinking one of those would be perfect for like a kid area to kind of contain all the kids like in one area, and it's like soft grass. I didn't know if we could get a lot or not.
Maybe, cause I know usually. Is it HMB? They usually use their back lot. When Glenda and Mike do the kitty corner. But I don't see why we couldn't, as long as we could get Mark Smith approval.
Okay.
Cause I mean, if we're gonna go in the summertime, could we get like a slip and slide? Like, could we get the big water slides and stuff? Like the
Yeah,
bounce
I was going to
houses
look into
have the
like
water?
a bounce house and like a water pad, and I was going to really, if you guys say it's a go, I was really going to like try to focus on like getting a whole bunch of like fun kid water activities and stuff.
Yeah,
So while we're adding to that, I think all those ideas are exquisite, but I also want to point two things out. And I'll actually probably segue into this here in a bit because we're already hitting at 11:43 a.m. with all these passion ideas. Let's see. Okay. So here's the thing. This would go along with our proposed budget.
Mhm.
And depending on what we're proposing, which I don't know if we'd be able to accomplish that like right off the bat.
Right.
But the good news is, let's say that if we decide today or whenever, I can arrange a special meeting if you guys are up for that. Just so we can kind of get the ball moving.
Yeah.
We can actually, as long as we write a check to the person,
Mhm.
we don't have to cash that check until they come here. So for example, like, if you say, okay, well, I guess this is how I understood the treasurer. So let's say we have like $10,000 to $12,000 in our budget. We could say, okay, Bill White is $1,200. We would write a check to Bill White, but we wouldn't give it to him yet until the day of.
Right.
So we wait till then, and that way we're not spending our money right now. But if we do a proposed budget, that will also stack on top. So
Gotcha.
the money wouldn't be spent till then anyway. That makes sense. For those, yeah.
Okay.
Which I'll just go ahead and go ahead and speed through this a little bit. This will give B an idea, but I'm sure B already knows this. The target audience is probably going to be like people who like history, who like cryptids, cryptid zoologists, and maybe even UFO enthusiasts. That crowd. I tried to get a hold of a UFO group in St. Louis, and they wouldn't respond to me. And what was interesting is that there's a special UFO group in St. Louis, or I guess the state of Missouri, that actually has our county with a couple of other neighboring counties as a complete UFO sighting on the
Okay.
map. But that person that is considered the district manager, or like the like, okay, you know how there's state trooper B, state trooper C, it was like a UFO person C, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And then I'll go ahead and segue into, just to make this a little quick, sponsorship ideas and vendors. And this would have a lot to do with probably the Momo effigy itself to support the cost of it.
Yeah.
So here's some things I want to bring up. Again, this is probably stacking on a lot of responsibility, but if we don't plan it yet, then it's okay. But there's a variety of ways that we could utilize the burning of the Momo. So like someone to light it on fire, to burn it, to be the honorary burner. What if someone gives a speech before the thing is burned? There's some sponsorship people that might be interested. I tried to reach out to this person who has a massive following out of Frankfurt. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Whiskey Biz.
Mhm.
But that person, they have million hit views on YouTube, and if you bring an influencer in like that, that would be really big. But he doesn't seem to respond to emails, and I've tried to talk to someone who knows someone he knows to reach out to him, but I think he's really busy. Pike's Off-Road could be a sponsor idea. People from Raintree Mall, Chad Perkins could be a sponsor. I don't know how that works though so much, because then you start getting into political stuff. I don't know how that works at all. And then of course CMC would be an obvious sponsor if they so choose to give certain materials.
Yeah.
Did you ever find out anything about that?
I have not yet. I haven't seen her though.
No?
So
Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna hold off on the event ideas, because I think the important thing is actually getting the event logistics submitted first before we do any events, or I should say like small things, like say scavenger hunts, stuff like that.
Mhm.
What is a good start time and end time?
For the day of.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say run it from like 10 to 5 and then, well, or unless we wanted to go later, because what would sunset time be?
that's a good question.
Sunset time, July. Okay. The sun will be setting at 8:30.
Okay.
That's really late for everything else, though, but. I mean, so if the sun's setting at 8:30, it's gonna be, because it's east-west. So if we were here, we could probably do burning the effigy at what, 6:30, 7 o'clock? Cause at that point, the sun's gonna be far enough over that like it's not gonna be sunset, but the sunset's on that end of town anyway, so like. Um. So like. If we do 10 to 6, maybe?
Yeah, because that would give people a chance to wake up from the Friday after 10 a.m. seems reasonable, because I'm sure people are gonna go well into 3 o'clock in the morning on the 4th of July,
Right.
for obvious reasons. And then,
And that still gives your kids and your old people time to come out before high noon,
yeah,
cause they usually come out in the morning. And then you just have your all day. And I would say we could do 10 to 6. Light the effigy at 6:30. And then if say. Whatever the last band is,
Mhm.
wanted to start at 7
okay.
at probably the Elks, just because they have more space.
Hmm.
Or if we wanted to figure out how to get a band down at the river right after the effigy.
Okay,
You know, burn the effigy, have a live band down there at the end. Just to allow Georgia Street to shut down.
okay,
You know what I mean? That way it's like, oh, okay, Georgia Street's done at 6. Everybody go to the river, get out of the business's hair, allow your food trucks to leave, allow cleanup to go through, allow trash trailer to go through. Whoever's closing can close. Open Georgia Street back up.
I think that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 to 6, I agree with that.
Yeah, 10 to 6.
Okay. Now, do we want to vote? So, okay, so here's an idea. So we can't keep these musicians waiting forever. And I'm not putting pressure on anything like that, or authors, whatever you call it, but a lot of them, after a while, I know that Brent Engel got back with me one time. He hasn't since responded to me then, because I know he's got obligations of his own. But Bill White had put a bug in his ear. Hey, did you guys get that figured out yet? And I had to explain to Brent, well, we've had issues getting quorum, so we couldn't really do anything. But now that we're all here, do we want to vote on securing these musicians now? And if we do, or, book signings, entertainers, speakers, if we want to do that now, is it possible that, let's say that Momo Fest gets declined, then we can make it more of a venue specific, venue focused thing and start small? If any of that makes sense.
But is that gonna get us in trouble? If
Well,
say tourism pays for Lyle Blackburn to perform at the Beacon? Does that show favoritism that tourism paid for that?
see, I don't know, because if it's open to the public and people are not, I mean, they're not, no one's barred from entry from going there, And
Right.
if people don't show up and voice their concerns and they don't make a suggestion on that kind of stuff, I don't know. That's a difficult question. Like Janine is not here today. I know she's got obligations, but it's like, if my thing is, if no one's going to voice anything, especially when it's right here out in the public, I don't know. And I also, I'm wondering too, would it actually be good for a business that's opening or reopening, whatever you call it, to have a speaker at a place like that?
Mhm.
Because it's like, oh, it's giving people a chance that have just visited town to check this thing out, Or what if we disperse these speakers amongst the businesses, so that gives each individual business that has that open venue space to advertise? Because in a sense, that could actually be like a sponsor. You give me an idea. So like, what if, say, what if Jason Offutt gives a speech at 601 gatherings, right?
Mhm.
Okay, well, sponsored by this, and then, okay, well, we're gonna go to 401 gatherings, or whatever it's called, right? Okay, well, Rob Logas performs here, right? And so we could do something like that. I don't know what anybody else thinks. Because you're
I
just,
mean, we could, I just worry about us paying for the entertainment and then it not being a
right.
full event.
Hmm.
Because we can't run ads for certain businesses.
Right. So should we
And
go
so
ahead?
I would worry about that.
Should we go ahead and table that and make April like a deadline, and see if we can't get the actual special event thing passed this month?
I would.
Okay. All right, so we'll table that, so that way we're not under pressure. That gives us plenty of time, because then we're just focused on the application itself and not anything else. So I
Yeah,
think,
I would say let's get
yeah,
the date confirmed for July 5th. Get our event application in. Then we can pay for our entertainment, and then once we have our entertainment confirmed, then we can figure out where we're putting them.
okay. Then I'll skip the start time and the end time, because we've already got that established. Two concerns, it's gonna be hot, but it's gonna be hot regardless, even with the event of global warming. It gets hot on Labor Day during the Steampunk Festival, so people are very well aware of it. But thankfully, no one has to dress up as the Bubba Monster unless it's the mascot, and if they want to take that responsibility, that's great. But heat is going to be a concern no matter what. And
It's
as we-
July,
Yeah.
people know what the weather is.
Yes, hottest month of the year apparently, and fairness, we've discussed that, which is why we're tabling these votes till next month. And there's a list of questions, which a lot of these things have been answered, which is good. We'll go ahead and let's see if there's anything else in the chat. Okay, there's not. We're gonna go ahead and jump over to the signage. For Highway 54 going into Louisiana on the Georgia Streetway. So I got an invoice from Lamar and some questions appeared in my mind. I'll start by saying that I went to Texas this past weekend and I put a lot of hours on the highway, and I noticed that Lamar has a lot of signage across the state, even going into, I think, Oklahoma and Texas. And I made some observations about that, but also I made some observations about the signage going into town on 54. So like I would probably argue within the city itself, there's like three or four maybe distinctive, like kind of wooden billboard sign kind of deals. So you have the obvious Lamar one. You have the sign, I think, closer to Stark Brothers, where it's the kind of a vintage Louisiana looking sign that someone posted up that's really beautiful. Then you have the sign that's closest to the log cabin, with an older banner for our old website on there. And then of course you have the Welcome to Louisiana sign, which is not really like a billboard. I just bring it up coming into 79. And a lot of the wooden ones don't have a reoccurring fee. And I'm wondering if we could find some way to buy the lumber and have build our own billboard and see if we can't order a vinyl sign from another third party, because the invoice was like, the invoice, if I can recall correctly, I think it was like $3,000 to $4,000. I think that's per year.
Yeah, that's per year to rent the billboard itself.
Okay, for the billboard itself. And so I think that, this town, I would argue that it would need more certainty in industry for that sign to be something that's reoccurring. Because to me, it's like, well, taxpayer dollars are going toward this thing, and are we really hitting those marks? It is the sign itself. I don't know if there's statistics that can be grabbed somewhere, because I guess it's hard if it's not electronic. But is there any statistics somewhere that has said that this sign is bringing in people and that's generating revenue to sustain it, the means?
I mean, no, I don't think there's any way to really see an ROI on that billboard. But I do think keeping it works, especially if not with the current vinyl. I think we can change the vinyl to make it more appealing. And as a reason to turn. But I think having it there, just like we did with Color Fest, to have something with that big arrow, turn now, here's the dates, get to it. I think it does serve that purpose very well. And yeah, unfortunately, that does mean we have to pay for it for the whole year, but I think that's only $700 per event. And something like Color Fest, if we can do one that just says, what is it, the third weekend in October?
I think so.
Third weekend in October, and it's something we can reuse year after year. Lamar will hold on to that vinyl for us for free. and put it back up and take it down when we ask them to.
Like all the maintenance and stuff, right?
Yeah, like once we've paid that $700 for that vinyl, they'll hold on to it and all we have to do is say, hey, can you put this out on this date and take it down on this date? And they'll do it. As far as I know, that is no extra cost to us.
Now, do we get to keep the vinyl if we don't want the billboard?
Like, do we get to ask for it back?
Just the signage itself, yeah,
I mean, I don't see why not. We paid for it.
okay.
I mean, we can ask. I had them hold on to our Color Fest one from this year.
Casey, any thoughts?
Sorry, I forgot how to unmute. Not at the moment.
No.
No.
Okay, well, I think the renewal period is coming up quite fast. If I'm not mistaken, so we would have to make a decision on that. And let me check my email because I don't want to hold people here forever.
I was gonna say, because Susan sent me another email as well. That had been sent to her.
I haven't seen her in forever. How's she doing?
Good, good. Yeah, it's just tax season. So no, nobody sees Susan for the first quarter of the year.
Forgot that the amazing dormant tax professionals working behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, I even tried to call her as a friend the other day and she did not answer me. So I was like, it's a little rude. But I also know better and that I need to call her after March 15th when she's done doing all of her corporate client taxes.
And also as a reminder to everybody, I can send out a vendor application that was given to me respectfully by Brooke from Chamber of Commerce. Shout out to her. She sent me an application that we can kind of get a good idea on how we can get vendors to abide by the rules and policies whenever they fill things out.
Can we please do a digital vendor application?
Yes.
Thank you.
Are we giving out the vendor applications or are we just waiting for approval first?
We probably want to get approval first, but I mean,
Okay.
it probably wouldn't hurt to. I'm
Because I
still
have
trying.
a vendor, a guy named Tommy, and he is a food vendor, and his food is absolutely amazing. And he was at Color Fest, and he had a crowd around his tent. So I think that he would be a really good one. And he was asking me about it the other day.
What kind of food was it?
It was everything. It was some birria tacos. He had fried fish. He has burgers. He has pasta. I forget his last name. Tommy Springfield, I think. And it was called Look at It. And it was the food was amazing.
Okay,
and he works
cool.
and he works at Walmart, so he's really
Nice.
like, yeah, I see him and he's like, you got the application yet? And I'm like, I'm working on it, Tommy.
I like it.
So I have the contract in front of me. So is it safe to say that we're paying for space? Because it says total space costs.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay, so for the location of west side of Highway 61, I don't know why. Let's see. Oh, that's for Troy, Missouri.
That's for 61.
Okay.
We absolutely do not want that billboard. It's like this big. It's so small. It is the tiniest billboard that you will never see. Like, it was a new one for us. And like, we were at an event out at Moscow Mills or something.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, billboard's coming up. And I'm driving, and I'm looking, I'm like, where is this billboard at? Where is it? It is literally behind the power lines on the opposite side of the highway.
Okay.
Like you can't see it.
I've heard a lot of concerning. Yeah. Okay. I've never physically saw it. That's probably why I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So location correction, Highway 54, for permanent bulletin size is 12 foot by 30 foot. Does it sound right?
Mhm.
And it says the service date. Oh, okay. You know what? The service date is some time away, so we have some time to debate on this. I'm getting tired. It says service dates May 5th of this year to next year, and investment per period is $315. Service periods are 13 months. And the total cost, space cost, is $4,095.
Wait, so what was the 315?
Oh, it says number of under the billing cycle every 4 weeks. It says number of service periods 13, and then it says investment per period is $315. So I think each service period is probably like a maintenance fee or something.
Is it or is that total broken down over 13 payments?
I think it is.
So 315, you said there's 13 of them? Yeah, that's 40.95. So that's just if we decided to pay it that way. Okay. So that's the billboard.
Okay.
My vote's to keep the billboard. But that's just me.
My vote also.
I just think that we should at least look at alternative solutions. The reason why I say that is because, and we didn't call quorum yet, but I would hypothetically vote against it because if we can find a way to find something that has the structural integrity of, say, the sign that you see by the log cabin, the historic Louisiana, Missouri sign.
It's closed, does that mean it's lunch or something?
Probably, you can probably come back in about 30 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it's a prosecutor and some other people by then, so. Yeah.
I'll let them know you came by. I'll let them know you came by.
Don't tell him my name.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll just say somebody was looking for you. That's it. So, basically, I think, okay, here's my argument. The billboard had a great intention behind it. It's beautiful. All the work that went into it cannot be understated. But we're talking about costs, just my own opinion. And I think we should figure out, can we buy lumber that is adjacent or equivalent to the type of lumber that is next to that log cabin that's in inner city limits, the Stark log cabin that has been up for so long, but we've made a permanent investment for a structure rather than repay a fee every year.
Right, but you'll never see that sign unless you are already headed into Louisiana.
Right, but
That's my issue.
but I'm talking about like an idea of a permanent structure that we at least own. And I guess the question is there a cheaper lot that we could rent, or is there some plot of land somewhere?
To get us 12 by 30.
Yeah, because the 12 by 30, I feel like taking that wood and building it and erecting it wouldn't really be the issue. It's really just about that vinyl sign, right? And the maintenance of it and weather permitting conditions.
I hesitate to call it a billboard, but that's technically what it is. In
Okay.
Clarksville, over by the Rain Tree, the Apple Shed,
Yeah.
the one that has Dean's on it, or did, it had half of it had a vinyl for Dean's on it. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, like you'd be coming towards us on 79. I wanna say she rented half of that billboard for like $700 for the year.
Okay.
And then she had to get her own vinyl and put it up herself.
Okay.
So that might be an option.
Okay.
I can find out from her cause it's just like a private citizen that owns it. Cause he just bought that lot next to the Apple Shed. And that's only 10 miles out of town, so we can put, you're coming up on Louisiana in 10 miles, make sure you turn left on Georgia, whatever, right? I only know it's 10 miles because I created her vinyl for it.
Oh, okay.
So, but that's an option. If we wanted to look at that as maybe a lower investment. And then we own that vinyl. And if we're like, hey, it didn't really work, okay, so take the vinyl down and move it somewhere else.
Well, I'll be vocal about this. I just, how do I word this? I've kind of taken and looked at kind of historically how things have been run within various organizations, and we're talking about decades back, right? And it's like, with all the grant money and investments that a lot of these organizations have had, I just want to see something that is, it's going back into the citizens' pockets in some kind of way, like there's some kind of incentive behind it, and it's not just something that like a big pile of cash that's just being like dumped on like a stick or like a stone somewhere,
Right.
because there's been a lot of times where like, oh, this stone over here needs to be repaved or something, and it's like, I think more than a stone needs to be something more than just a stone should be taken into consideration whenever we're making big investments like that. And also, and I'm not saying it to you personally, I'm
Right.
just speaking out loud. Citizen One said there are sign ordinances within the city varies by location. Historic district more strict. I do know that there are size restrictions. Those ordinances could limit what we are discussing. Okay, so thanks for the consideration. I didn't think about that either time. But like, I guess what I'm getting across is there's something like we want things to, or people should want things to stand the test of time. So like you have the benches in the riverfront. Historically, I believe the Lions Club donated those benches or whatever, and they've stood there forever. And then you have beautiful contributions from the Rotary Club, like I don't know the name of it, but the giant enclosed space that the Rotary Club put at Sunset Park.
Oh, like the pavilion?
It's called Pavilion. Okay. They put that there and that's to the test of time, or like even those little areas, those little inner areas that the Lions Club donated. And it's like they've stayed there and citizens have used them consistently, right? They've been used a lot, which is good. But like that sign, it's like I took a look at it and I'm wondering like, okay, well, there's so many different advertisements, like you talked about the arrow. Well, what about that sign out by the all parts area, or the sign that's between Dorman Products and the air evac field?
The one that they put the Color Fest
Yeah.
thing on? It's dinky.
Yeah.
I think it's dinky.
Yeah.
Like yes, a billboard, we're renting it and you can view that as cash thrown away. I think you can also look at it as renting something that's gonna have the biggest impact. And yeah, it might not be ours, but it allows us full color. We get free design
Okay.
from them. They design the billboards. Should we let them? Like the one that's up there right now, we sent them the photos and we said, here's an idea, and they come back and they say, how do you feel about these? And they will have that conversation with you, and it's at no extra charge to us. They'll do the design work. Like I said,
Okay.
they'll take those vinyls up and down. And if we can pick something year round that gets people to turn, we get a Color Fest one that can be used year after year that just says third weekend in October. And then if we want to get one for Momo Fest, if we can pick a consistent date, time, whatever for that one, then that's one-time investment, and all we have to do is pay that 4,000 each year for the space. But then the vinyl work's done, the design work's done. They'll take it up and down. It also comes at no maintenance to us. Anything we build, when it gets rickety and looks like crap, citizens are going to come to us and go, why do we invest in that? You're not even maintaining it.
Right.
You're not fixing it. Whereas that billboard, something goes wrong, that's on Lamar to come fix it. So
is the main argument, and I guess I'm just gonna pretend like there's like three groups of people, and then one, like let's say there's 1,000 people, they say it's dinky, this 1,000 people say this. So like is dinky the biggest concern? Because what I've noticed, so when I come back from Texas, I started driving through these small towns, and I've noticed that there is a reoccurring pattern of like what a historic town is, right? And something that I thought was kind of cool in Oklahoma is that they just said, hey, come visit our historic town. But it was like a billboard that might have been like probably 16 by 16 foot, but it was stuck out on the right hand side, and it didn't really invoke any emotions of happiness, I guess, but it said, hey, come visit our little town. And I was like, oh, that popped out to me out in the middle of nowhere because I'm here in Oklahoma on this highway. And so I just wanted to make sure, like, okay, are we using our money reasonably? And like I said, I'm not I'm not saying that the sign's bad or anything. The sign it's beautiful, especially during a sunny day where the grass is green. It really sticks out. But I just want to make sure that, as a member of tourism, that I mean, I haven't heard any real vocal support against it or anything like that. I just want them to know, hey, this thing, it's a luxury,
And it is a luxury, but I think it also. It's a landlord luxury though.
A what?
It's a landlord luxury.
Okay.
Water heater goes out. You're not out $3,000. Your landlord is.
Mhm.
And I think the billboard kind of provides us that.
Okay.
Whereas something goes wrong, that's on them. We need specialty design work done. Guess what? They can do it. We don't have to do it. And it's also already there. If we're gonna build a sign, are we replacing a sign? Where are we putting that sign? Do we own the land to put that sign there? How big can it be? That becomes a whole slew of other questions. Then who's building it? Who's painting it? Who's designing it?
Mhm.
Who's maintaining it year after year? Things like that. It just adds a lot more stress to this committee. That can then also fall back on us. Whereas I think the billboard allows us. I don't wanna say set it and forget it, but kind of. It's big, it's there. It's something that's already in place
Mhm.
that can continue to work for us without us really thinking about it once we have all of our correct finals in place.
Well, let me ask you this then. What if we, and this is not really like, okay, so when you see the sign, there are some issues with the sign that come to mind. So like, okay, talks about the historic buildings, right? There's emphasis on it. There's emphasis on the front, but there's not really anything that captures like the color vest or anything, right?
Right.
Okay, so I guess what I'm wondering is, so here's another thing I want to tie into this sign thing. So whenever you're on Highway 54, something that I've noticed, and I don't know if this is done intentionally with Louisiana's like road infrastructure, but if you pass through Oklahoma,
Mhm.
how they have it set up is if you're on the main highway in Oklahoma, coming from Missouri, I guess the fastest highway, there's several highways. They will do it's like they'll make you go like 75 miles an hour on the highway, and then they'll slowly decrement the speed down. And what's interesting is that all the semi trucks and everything pass right through this small town, right? And so it gets all of the highway traffic coming in.
Mhm.
Well, Louisiana, we have Highway 54 going straight to the bridge. There's a bunch of trees and stuff, and eventually they just run out of a gas station and they could miss out of town. And we have that weird little curve instead of it being a straight shot into Georgia Street. And I'm wondering why that design choice is a thing. Why is it curved like that? Or is it a safety thing, or does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think it's just that the 54 connects, your 79, your 61 and all of that. I mean, I don't know, I didn't design the town.
Right.
But, and that's why I think the billboard works though, to try to get people to make that turn instead of going straight.
Guess that'd be a MoDOT question.
Yeah. Sounds like a question you can answer with a box of nails being thrown around too.
Okay, well, when would the board like to have another meeting? If we want to gain momentum, do you guys want to have a second meeting this month or in April?
Let's have a second meeting this month.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
All right, and how is everybody's schedule?
I can zoom in when I'm at work or anything, so it doesn't matter to me.
Okay,
Unless you're wanting to have like an in-person meeting.
Zoom is fine. I don't want to inconvenience people if they're comfortable. Just as a reminder, I don't know if this is the case or not right now, but correct me if I'm wrong, is Liza back in town?
I don't know.
Okay,
Pourquoi?
so I was informed that Liza Tejada is back, perhaps, and I have not seen her around, but she might potentially be able to join tourism in the future, if Janine Kelly can't make it, but that's kind of like a hypothetical, so I'm just letting everybody know that. Assuming, I mean, I don't know this for a fact if I have not seen her, but I was informed that she would be back to potentially be a part of tourism again, but I have not seen her, so just throw that out there.
Yeah, I haven't seen her. I didn't know that she left town. I mean, she lives in town now.
Okay,
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't
I-
work for the arcade anymore because the arcade is no more,
Right,
but
I heard like once the arcade was gone and then this person moved away and disappeared, or this person went to St. Louis or whatever kind of thing, and so I just stopped following it, and then I only saw her once, and then I didn't see her again. I'm like, okay,
no, I mean, she bought a house in the area, so,
oh, okay, so she's a permanent resident.
yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know, she was like, cause I asked her about it after the arcade and she was like, no, I bought a house, I live here now. Okay,
Oh, okay. I don't, I can't keep up with her. There's so many new people here.
that's good.
Yes. Also, it's just hard to be on social media and everything 24/7. It's impossible. There's just too much going on.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay, so you said you're fine with any time. What works best for you?
Well. Do we want to do next week or the following?
How about we shoot for the 19th?
Next Wednesday?
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah.
10 a.m., 11 a.m. What are you guys looking forward to?
Let's do 10 a.m. I start getting cranky around 12.
Okay.
I can.
Are
hear
you
you.
are you a judge?
Huh?
Are you a judge?
Am I a judge?
Yeah, you know the study where they say that judges that don't eat lunch, they impose harsher sentences, but
Oh,
after
yes.
lunch. Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining. I encourage people to always show up to tours and meetings and vocal or voice their concerns if they do. I'm gonna try to get better at posting more on Facebook and make it more spontaneous, and also be if you can. I'll just delegate this to you and Cassie, both if you're interested. Come up with some creative stuff for the Facebook page and possibly the website because they're both kind of dead right now. And if you throw me some creative ideas, I will try to implement them.
Okay.
All right, this meeting is adjourned.
Bye.
Oh.
Bye.